Hey, Periscope. How are you? It's Dr. Shante. I am the host of the Branding for Believers podcast. Good morning, everyone. So, if you have never scoped with me before, I kind of have some house rules. I believe it's so rude to go into somebody's house and not speak to them. And essentially, when you're on Periscope, that's what you're doing. You are kind of going to somebody's house. So, if you can hear me, say hello, say good morning, say what's up. Hey, I see hearts already. Thank you for that love. So please go ahead and say something, give me a shout out so that I can acknowledge you. Hey Gabe, how you doing this morning? Hey Cookies 1214, how are you? So yes, let's say good morning. Let's greet one another. Let's not be rude to one another. So, first of all, thank you guys so much for joining the scope yesterday. Hey, Katina, how are you doing? Good morning, Signature Details. Darian Direct, how are you? I'm grateful for you guys joining me yesterday on the scope, the Viola Davis effect. It was very well received, and it was also shared. And so if you have an Apple device, hello, Mr. Burns, how are you doing? Hey, Lalitha, how are you doing? So I want to make sure that you guys get the word out. So if you have an Apple device, go ahead and swipe your screen from left to right, and that will share this broadcast with your audience, with your following, if you feel like there's going to be value in it for you. And hey, Takrisha, how are you doing? Hey, Lakia, how are you? And if you, I think you have an Android device, I think you have to like swipe up. I'm not sure about that because I'm not on team Android, my bad. Good morning, Miss Reese, how are you doing? But if you could go ahead and start sharing this with your followers, I would so appreciate it. So I want to come in and I want to share 5 keys to success in 2016. I've got it all right here for you. And the thing is that you might be thinking, okay, this is September. Why are you sharing this now? You know, don't we usually hear this kind of talk and rhetoric closer to January? No, not necessarily, because January is too late to start planning for January. I mean, if you are really thinking about large scale success, I want you to think about any reputable company, any reputable business, from the Targets, you know, all the way to the Neiman Marcuses. I know you don't think that they start planning their strategic plan for 2016 in 2016. No, by the time 2016 rolls around, it's already in the books. It's already locked, loaded, and people are already galvanizing their efforts to make sure that it happens. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys that same value. Thank you guys so much for joining this scope. So if you don't have a pen or some handy device to kind of like type these out or write these down, make sure that you grab one because this is going to be key. So here are my 5 keys to success in 2016. The first one is have your vision party now. Okay. How many of you have ever gone to a vision party? So if you've ever gone to a vision party, either type in the comments or like send some hearts if you've ever gone to a vision party, if you've ever heard of a vision party. And don't get me wrong, vision parties are a good time. You know, it is kind of motivational and inspiring to kind of get around like-minded people when you guys have goals and moving in the same direction. Oh, Takrisha, you've hosted one. Then I'm going to say you guys need to have your vision party right now. January, I understand that it has that kind of element of new year and newness and awareness, but you have to start planning for January really back in July. But if you're going to have a vision party, you need to have it right now, because by the time you start saying in January, here's what I want to do for the year, you've missed out on deadlines, you've missed out on resources. Sponsors determine what they're going to fund the year prior. Good morning, Taisha. They determine what they're going to fund the year prior to the event. And so, excuse me, if you have an event coming up, you are missing out on precious, okay, real estate in terms of the time sector. So my very first key for success in 2016 is that you need to have your vision party now. And that might be a party of one, but you need to execute the vision now. You know, like the Bible says, write the vision. So you need to be writing it out like right now. My second key to success is this: take inventory of your content. Many of you have platforms where you try to teach classes and you try to teach workshops. Who is that? Hello, I'm at O'Hare. How are you doing? Some of you have classes, you try to teach workshops. Some of you have done webinars, you've done seminars, you have participated in panels, and you've given guest speaking talks and all that type of stuff. And you know what we do? You can certainly ask a question if it's appropriate. You know what we do after we do those things? We basically walk away from it. We're like, okay, I did that. Okay, I had that workshop. Okay, I had that talk. Okay, I did that event. And we move on to the next thing, and we're always spinning our wheels like, okay, well, what am I going to do next? Or what is my next product going to be? Hold up. Stop. Look at your inventory. What do you have in your arsenal right now that can be repurposed, that can be consolidated into a bigger package or a bigger offering? Stop. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do other things. Don't do that unless you have taken inventory of what you already have, because you don't need, in many cases, to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes what you need to do is repackage what you have already assembled and just be more strategic in terms of how you deliver that information. So for example, some of you have gone as far as written ebooks and things like that. If you've written an ebook and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 or 40 pages, well, that can be 30 weeks worth of content if you take certain segments of that ebook and make sure that you execute that in a different delivery format. How do you see importance of success in life versus satisfaction in life? That's actually a good question. Success in life versus satisfaction in life, I think that the two are not mutually exclusive, because I know a lot of people that may be like financially successful in terms of an external point of view, like, oh wow, he's really doing the darn thing because, you know, he's making, you know, X amount of dollars. However, money, financial success does not all necessarily mean that you are personally successful. Some people have a job, they make lots of money and they hate their job, like they hate it. I have a friend right now, you know, she has a very high ranking position at a college, and like her eye has like started twitching because it's just so stressful. And so I don't think that we can always measure success in dollars and cents, but I think that whatever you feel is personally gratifying to you, something that doesn't suck your soul, is success. So number 3, my key to success. So number 1 was have your vision party now. Number 2 is take inventory of your content. And another thing I want to say about content is this. If you don't have content, you need to get content, because let me tell you something, content is what distinguishes you from everybody else that does what you do. Because think about it, you are not the only person that does what you do. You're not the only person that talks about empowerment. You're not the only person that talks about motivation. You're not the only person that's talking about changing lives. You're not the only makeup artist. You're not the only hairstylist. You're not the only fashion stylist. You're not the only baker. You're not the only chef. So if all of those people are kind of like in one playing field, then you have to start asking yourself, what is going to distinguish me from everybody else in the pack? And what tends to distinguish you from everybody else in the pack is your content. Okay, it's pretty much the way that you provide valuable, consistent, and relevant information to your audience. And so if you don't have any content, you need to start developing content or put somebody on payroll to develop that content for you. Number 3, document your process. So here's the thing about documenting your process. We are so busy being busy, meaning like, you know, I got to do this and I got to do that. And, you know, we're going to have this event and we're going to get these people to come and we're going to do this, that, and the third. And you're so busy doing that you're really not documenting what you're doing. So if you've had a success, if you've had a successful event, if you've had a successful launch, if you've had a successful run where you are building community and things like that, you need to be documenting how you did that. Because when you document how you did that, see, that leads to product. Because if you document your process leads to a product that now you can package and sell to other people to teach them about how to get the process to have the same success that you had or have similar success that you had. So don't be so busy doing that you're not taking a moment to stop and look at what you're learning, okay? Because what you're learning, that's the value. Because let's see, show of hands, don't you love learning from other people's mistakes? You don't have to, you know, fall down the same pit. You don't have to jump down the same hole. It's a beautiful thing when you can learn from the mistakes of other people. And so if you are in the situation where you have done something well, then put it together, because what you're going to do is you're going to save people time. You're going to save people money. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. What about now? Are we better? Okay. So if you document your process, you are going to save people time, you are going to save people money, you are going to save people headache, you are going to save people from making mistakes. And so document your process, because that has the potential to turn into a product that can really help to benefit your audience. Another thing that I want to say is reverse, bad connection. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. The beauty of this is that number one, it's going to be a replay. But number two, what I have started doing with Periscopes for this year is I have uploaded it to my YouTube channel. You says, yes, I can hear you, but I can't see you. Okay, that is weird. I believe that there might be a bad connection. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can fix that. Let me know if this is better. Let me know if you can see me better and if you can hear me better. So hopefully that's a little clearer for you guys. But if you are not able to watch the replay, then what you can do is you can see the replay on YouTube. Yay! Okay, problem solved, fixed. Awesome sauce. Okay, so the fourth thing that I want to say is reverse engineering. What do I mean by that? So engineering is the process of building. Engineering is the process of putting together. So reverse engineering is looking at how you are going to get there. So let's say you want to host a conference in 2016. In 2016, if you want to host a conference in April, that means that you need to start reverse engineering the process. Work back from April to right now and see, what do I need to do in March? What do I need to do in February? What do I need to do in January? What needs to happen in December? It's almost like planning a wedding. And sometimes we think these things are like mutually exclusive. They're not. The same process that you use to plan a wedding, once you've set your date and you've got your venue, then you start working backwards to see, what are the things that I need to do all the months leading up to the wedding. And so you definitely need to plan way in advance and reverse engineer the process, which brings me to point number 5. The 5th key to success in 2016 is this: do not try to go it alone. I know we're super people. We have the big S on our chest and we can, leap mountains in a single bound, and, we got this, and, we're all good in the hood. No, even Jesus had disciples, okay? Like, don't try to do this by yourself. You need some support. You need some systems in place. And I noticed that sometimes we feel some kind of way about asking people for help. We have kind of like pride issues. I don't want to ask them. I don't want to ask her. I don't want to ask him. I don't want folks thinking this and I don't want folks thinking that. Listen, can you control what people think? I'm going to go ahead and say no. You can't control what people think. So since you can't control what people think anyway, stop trying to be Sigmund Freud and try to psychoanalyze everything and anticipate what people are going to say and ask for help. Because I'm telling you, that is the number one reason why entrepreneurs struggle, is because they try to be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Then they get burnt out, coming home, kicking the kids, and all this other type of stuff. So just, hey, Katina. So, and just doing all kinds of things that are not personally beneficial, are not physically beneficial. And so the 5th key is you need to ask for help. That's right. You have not because you ask not. So let me give you guys a quick recap of these 5 keys, because I know at one point we had some glitchy signal issues and I want to make sure that you got them all in case that you were taking notes. So number 1 is have your vision party now. You cannot not start planning January in January. This is the time to do that. Okay. Number 2, you need to make sure that you take inventory of your content. So look at what you have. Some of you have written things and you never used them. Some of you have written things and you never put them out there. Yes, and I do have a Catch channel as well. So if you missed it earlier, you can definitely use Catch. But some of you have written things. You have inventory. Take a look at that and see what you can actually do to repurpose that into something that is profitable for you, something that can benefit your audience. Number 3, you need to document your process. So if you have been successful at something, document the process and see how you can turn that into a product. Because if you can teach people how to do something that's going to save them time, money, hassle, overwhelm, then you have a money maker on your hands. So don't discount your process. Make sure that you're taking note of everything that you did in order to have success so that you can help others have the same success. Number 4, reverse engineer everything. It's just like planning a wedding. Yes, document process to turn it into a product. Thank you for that, Rashonda. So reverse engineer everything. Is just like planning a wedding. If you know what the date is and you know what the venue is going to be, now let's start working backwards to see how that's going to happen. Because far too often we plan things, we have these big visions, and I know I have been guilty of this in the past. But the details, you know, it's always in the details. And so since if you are a big visionary, then you need to have like that type A personality, that person that's always got the checklist and things like that. That needs to be your ride or die, your right hand person that is going to say, okay, now how are we going to get there so that you can reverse engineer the process? And last but certainly not least, do not go it alone. Don't try to build the pyramid by yourself. You don't have to do that. Okay. And some people are always intimidated by cost. Do you know that if you are providing consistent value to your tribe, to your people that follow you, do you know that there are people that will volunteer to help you? Do you know that there are people that will just love to be a part of what you're doing because they see you moving to a higher echelon and they just want to be a part of it and support you, and they want to sow into your life because you've sown into their life. So don't be afraid to ask for help. You can't do everything all by yourself. So if you enjoyed this scope, I want to please encourage you to invite people and to give hearts and love so that we can show people that this is a channel that's worth following. Yes, 2 are better than 1. People want to follow someone who was going somewhere. Yes, it is, because the thing is, brand affiliation is very important. You don't want to be associated and tethered to people who aren't going anywhere and who aren't doing anything. And I can tell you this from experience. I look out for my people. If you have extended yourself to me, I look out for you. I reach for you. I refer you to opportunities. I connect you to people who can get you to where you want to go, because that's what it's about. It's about reciprocity. So that is my scope for today. Thank you guys so much. I apologize for the signal and connection issues, but you can catch it again on YouTube. You can catch the replay, and you can definitely catch it on Catch. Catch with the K, not with the C. All right, guys, I will see you on my next scope. Thank you so much. Mwah.